I am not putting up with this anymore.
Putting up with what? I can't talk to people?
I am out of here.
Oh, come on. What? Because I have a little conversation with somebody?
Constantly, and I am not.
What? If I was having a conversation with Bob or something, like when we
Stop Fighting It Hurts was inspired in a conversation that Pitkin County Health and Human Services had with Pitkin County Sheriff's Office. And we were looking at dramatic increases in domestic violence calls and child abuse and neglect referrals between 2008 and 2013. And we started a conversation and said, what can we do differently? How do we help these families way before police are involved or a child abuse and neglect referral is made?
So when I respond to domestic violence calls, or sometimes they're not even sure that they are domestic violence, just two people arguing, when we get there, we don't see children right away. So one of the first questions that we ask is, are there any children in the home tonight? And parents will say, well, yeah, but they're in the back bedroom, they're in the basement, they're upstairs, they didn't hear anything, they don't know what's going on, it's okay. But we'll find that children, they know that we're there, they saw the lights come, they hear us talking, and they start to poke their heads down from the stairwell or around the corner. And if they can hear us talking at a normal level to mom and dad, then definitely they heard mom and dad screaming at each other, yelling, having that argument. And even children that aren't small enough to understand the words mom and dad are saying to each other, they still feel that tension between mom and dad. For sure, studies have really shown that kids can feel it even in the womb. If a pregnant mom is tense and under stress, a baby in the womb can even feel that stress.
And we decided that we wanted to create a prevention plan when none of us had many skills in it. And we've created Stop Fighting It Hurts. It is an exceptional website that helps educate families in their own homes, at their own pace, on their own time schedule, if they're concerned about the level, type, or tone of fighting that's going on between partners in a home and whether it's impacting their children.
Every day I see a kid that walks into my office who's withdrawn and hurting, can't connect with teachers, maybe doesn't have friends. And one of the main reasons for that is because of conflict at home. And Stop Fighting It Hurts is a tool to help families understand that. Maybe that's why their kid is hurting.
Schools are using it with parents, therapists are using it with clients as an education tool for really understanding what a healthy relationship is, and that's a better impact than we could have imagined originally.
In my practice as a therapist, communication is something that we talk about on an everyday basis, and part of communication and the struggle with it is having conflict. It's an everyday facet of our lives is to have a conflict with someone else, and when we don't know how to communicate our needs to our loved one, to our husband, to our wife, at home our kids are affected by that. We don't realize the extreme of how they're affected. It could be a very shaming experience to hear your parents argue in the other room, and yet even though we may have resolved the conflict, or maybe we didn't resolve the conflict, the last thing we think about is how did it affect our children.
It's really important to recognize that all families have conflict and fight. What happens though, if the fighting is unfair, unbalanced, if there are control issues in the fighting, if it's loud, and if it's chronic, it can impact children's health, it can impact their mental health, it can impact their school performance, and in the long run, it can impact their relationships in the future. We believe that parents are inspired most to change their behavior if they know that it impacts their children in a negative way. We all want to be good parents. And so the website, Stop Fighting It Hurts, gives people an idea of what is healthy, what is unhealthy fighting, and what they might do to change their behavior or get help in the community to change their behavior so that their children have the best advantage.